Oh, you know you need a two-thirds vote to change the rules.
Speaker, which items would you like to speak to?
Let's see. We have item 4, item. Let's see. I have two more. 8, 9. Okay.
You'll have 3 minutes.
Item 4 is putting another Hollywood Walk of Fame star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame because we know that's what's important right now, right? I mean, 6 unhoused people dying on the streets every day. There's, just rampant, all kinds of corruption going on in this city, and we're just putting Hollywood Walk of Fame stars on there. I mean, again, no offense to the people being honored. They're being thrown in the middle of all of this. But, why don't you resolve your issues, and then we can give some Hollywood Walk of Fame stars. We can honor them, have a big celebration, a big party, and, it'll probably be a completely different council, so we're going to have to get rid of all you to fix all the issues. But yeah, let's see. So when all the issues are fixed, you're all about to be elected out. Let's see, we have item 8 is a motion from Kevin De Leon and Officer Tracy for lighting up City Hall for Kevin's campaign event. You're all going to vote for because you all want Kevin reelected. Because you all love him. You're all racist, or you're corrupt, or you're hiding something else, or you're cowards. You all just are going to vote for his motions. You're going to vote to let him light up City Hall and post it on. But, you're not doing anything about cancer or anything. I mean, yeah. Let's see. We have a motion from Nithya Raman and King Krikorian to His Majesty to declare January 2020, the next week, I think, as Homeless Count Week. You're gonna count them. Well, I mean, I guess it's okay that we're counting them, I guess. But I mean, why aren't we housing them? Why aren't we giving services to them? I mean, what are you? I mean, we kind of know how many people are unhoused at this point. I mean, it's pretty known and well clear. But why don't you count? Why don't you just count them or some? Why don't you get them housed? Why are we doing all this resources towards counting them again? Why don't we get them housed? Why don't we get them services instead of just counting them off before you send them on a bus and take them out to the camp in the desert like a lot of you want to do? Why don't you just, why don't we get them housing in the city? Why don't we get them services in the city? But no, we'll just count them again. So we know how many there are, so we can calculate the percentages when you consider 6 unhoused people dying every day on the streets.
Ms. Lewis, you are not allowed to speak out. If you speak out, you will be removed. You've been warned many times. You don't need another warning.
You do this, you enact, the state legislature enacts this stuff, and all of a sudden there's no more responsibility. That's when Prop A and Prop C were initiated for Metro, Measure R and Measure M. All those tax dollars were stolen because Measure R stands for Mark Ridley Thomas, and the Measure M is not an M. So if you went outside and you looked at the paperwork that Metro gives out, you'll see that the M is not a complete M, which means since it's not a complete letter, you can't use pictures for words. And it's actually a picture of a pair of pants. So we steal that money too. That's why it's taken over 60 years to do any kind of work for Metro. Item number 4 refers to Garrett Morris getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I'm wondering, all these people that came up here from this high school that was located in Watts, where Rosa Parks Station is located, I'm wondering why nobody showed up in this city council, because it was the only government building that had the KKK, an African American, dressed up as a KKK Grand Wizard, and not one motherfucker came in here and said, what the hell is going on? Not one member of city council said anything. Nothing. You have a African American dressed up as a KKK.
Stick to the items, please.
Oh, sorry?
Items.
This is item number 9, Garrett Morris, who's an African American, I imagine. So I'm wondering why they didn't show up, and I ask about why we have an African American dressed up as a KKK Grand Wizard. Why nobody showed up to say anything about it. It's in the aim.
Speaker, you should move on to your other items.
And Rosa Parks was all about equality. What would she say if she had to deal with a KKK that came back after 50 years? Item number 8 refers to wearing red.
Let's talk about item 1. Is that $100 million that we're going to give to Campbell Hall, or somehow we're going to be part of that? And yet, last week when we had the Arts, and Music Academy here, the kids begging you to give them a little money, keep their school open. What did you do? Mr. DeLeon, it was nice that you said, oh, you feel for them. And, you know, I really like you, Mr. You've come a long way. But what was done for those kids? Those kids had to be spread out. Yet you're going to give Campbell Hall. Now, Campbell Hall, a lot of nice people there. But all I can say to those kids who went to that school that you are shutting out is don't give up. Because it doesn't matter if you come from a Campbell Hall or you come from a school that is being closed where you went. You can make it in this city, in this country. If you got the cojones, you can make it wherever you want to go.
Speaker, you should move on to your next items. Speaker, which items would you like to speak to?
Item number 1, please.
You'll have 1 minute.
I'm sorry.
You'll have 1 minute.
And if you could state your name for the
My
record
name
as
is
well.
Mark Williams. I'm board president and executive director of Concerned Citizens of South Central Los Angeles. I have packets for each council person that I'd like to distribute. A generation of black political leadership is about to perish, and the state of California is about to become a Republican state because Councilman Price decided to protect their favorite criminal instead of the property taxpayers in the 9th Council District and its children. He enabled a reign of terror that
Speaker,
goes on now.
it's not clear that you're speaking to item number 1.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking to item number 1 because bond funds are involved in it. And if people have ears to hear, they know what I'm talking about. May I continue?
You can finish your thought if you want, but 10 seconds to finish your thought.
Mayor,
10 seconds. Go.
the mayor is uniquely positioned and qualified to resolve these things if only she would lead. And she needs to do that very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Harriet Elliott, speaking on item 1.
Speaker, can you remind us of your name, please?
Harriet Elliott.
Okay, you'll have 1 minute.
The speaker before last said he saw a bunch of high schoolers demanding more money. That's not what I saw. I saw high schoolers asking for homeless drug addicts to not come into their classroom. You know, the CIA is working overtime to get public opinion. They would love young people to think that the homeless are their enemy. I think that even though all the city council members took it all very seriously, I think how gullible can we be to think that this is actually a real issue? I don't think it is. The CIA is good at directed energy. They work in different modalities. I'm going to talk about it at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Oh, and as far as my opinion on this floating bonds, I think that I appreciate if you guys tell us if the school is a charter school, and if so, why?
Speaker, please let us know which name you signed up under and which items you'd like to speak to.
Oh, am I really that unrecognizable when I don't have a hat on? Stacy Segura Bollinger. Walk of Fame, I don't know why we're putting stars in a sidewalk while there's people dying on them. Priorities, people. Are we aware of the concept of triage? We take care of the most important issues first, and then when people aren't dying on the street, then we can decorate them with stars. So I'm noticing some motions here. It looks like Councilmember Rahman and President Krikorian have cooperated a lot on this agenda. They've presented a lot of motions together, including item 1, item 6 regarding the Studio City Business Improvement District. I'm just wondering why Councilmember Rahman hasn't communicated with President Krikorian the motion that the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council sent to her office quite some time ago regarding the public's right to speak and affirming Council Rule 7. You can obviously cooperate with Paul Nithya, so why aren't you doing that for the people on behalf of your constituents like you've been officially asked? What else do we have? Oh, we're gonna, bitch, you said what you said. You're going to light City Hall red. You don't give a shit about people, you just want to be famous instead. I don't know, that one wasn't very good. I just made that one up right now. Eat your heart out, Doja Cat. Why are we spending $400 every time we need to light the stupid fucking building? Why are we using all of that money in the general city purposes fund? We have a general city purposes fund, and we're not putting every single cent we have to housing the people that are dying on the street. You look so bored right now, Councilmember Rahman. Am I boring you? Is this not important to you?
Stick to the
you
item,
were having
please.
less fun now than you were at the
Stick to
Soha
the
debate
item,
the other
please.
night. What
Items.
item is that, Bob?
One of the items on the agenda that you've chosen to speak about.
Oh, I'm speaking on the items. So we have De Leon and Park lighting up the City Hall red. Fuck both of them. And y'all need to do a better job paying attention.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Speaker, which name did you sign up under, and which items would you like to speak to?
Mike Greenspan on all items, including general public comment, which I know will be later, but for the record.
All right, you'll have 3 minutes for the agenda items.
Okay. Ho, ho, ho. What's Santa bringing today? Well, he's bringing bonds. What kind of bonds? $100 million worth of bonds. That's what. Well, our city's already $100 million in the red because we busted the budget. It must have been Blumenfield's committee that caused the budget to bust to pay off the pigs with money that we don't have. But now, does this mean Campbell Hall will cease to exist because we're buying it up? Well, what can I say? Hate to see it go. I mean, say it's not so. It's a private Episcopalian high school. It's 40% Jewish. Usually, these Christian groups, they don't want a Jew anywhere near. They just want their Jewish money, and that's it, like the white trash evangelicals. But when you have an integrated country club or an integrated school, it's usually Jews and Episcopalians. They're very liberal as far as having Jews on their campus because they've got money to pay. You know, no money, Campbell Hall. No problem is Campbell Hall. Well, let's go on to another item because we seem to think nothing of the money. But today, let's talk about the name of Garrett Morris on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He was one of the early Saturday Night Live people in their heyday, in the mid-'70s. And he's not in prison like Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby or that other actor that just recently got convicted of rape from 30 to 40 years ago. No, he's got a good, clean record, and it's Hollywood. Hollywood the way it should be. He's not with the racist Florida Tea Party like one of the Saturday night people that worked with Al Franken. No, it's Hollywood. You've got to remember something about Hollywood. Women give their pussies to get into Hollywood. Bottom line. Well, let's look at some of the other items that we have on the agenda. Oh, somebody, I think Council District 14, item 5. Yeah, someone bought a subdivision for $15,000. Isn't that nice? Hey, brother, can you spare $15,000 so I could buy a subdivision too? Well, not a subdivision, a vacation. It's square footage of a street. Having given money to the campaign, that's what you get in return. You get free land. Well, free for a price, but compared to the market value, it's a good bargain. If we all could get it at that price, we'd be great. Now, we have no money, so we're transferring $164,640 for the slope mitigation project. Well, that means there's a problem when you have to mitigate, because that means there are bad circumstances. And as far as the other stuff, the Council District 14, number 8, where's the money?
No yelling out. I don't know who that was yelling, but you're going to be removed if we identify who's yelling out. Andre Quintero's name is here. If you've come up to speak on the items and you haven't been called, not general public comment, you can line up over here.
Item number 8.
Speaker, which name did you sign up under?
I am an illegal immigrant, so I don't really have a name.
Which items would you like to speak to?
I want to speak on 8, 9, and 7, possibly 6 or 5, if I have enough time.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, no one signed up for 8, 9, and 7, sir.
Right now is about Kevin De Leon and Park. So, and then it's about District of Funding Services for Council District 14. And then I'm here to support Kevin De Leon because Kevin De Leon lives matter, and then Tracy Park's lives matter, and then this motion 8 lives matter. District 14 has the Skid Row in it, and then it is the center crisis for the homeless services. So if any district need the most funding, if any district need the most support, most services, that will be the Skid Row district, which is the District 14. However, I don't see many council members are working collaboratively with Kevin De Leon. And then what I see is for the past several years, several decades, several thousand of years, that Skid Row, every politician are talking about, we're gonna help improve the homeless, we're gonna solve all the homeless problem. But the fact is,
Speaker,
the
you should
people
move
on
on to your next item.
My next item is number 9. Regarding homeless count. Okay, homeless count is very important because even the previous item and then this item, they all talking about homeless. So the homeless is, everybody are talking about homeless count and then homeless. What I know is year after year, day after day, the homeless population continue to raise. It never goes down. But at the same time, you are throwing away 100 million, 200 million, 1 billion, 2 trillion. At the same time, the continue a growing number of homeless on the street, and then most important on the Kevin De Leon's office. So we really make sure we have to do a very important homeless count, because a lot of people homeless like me, we don't even have a name. Like people like me, we don't even have a driver's license. People
Speaker,
like me,
you should move on to your next item.
People will never get counted. And then the next item is have a nice day. You're terrible. Fuck you.
Mr. Candido was 100% right when he said, how are you putting $100,000 to a school that is privileged, and yet you forget about the rest? De Leon going over to the school that's been closed since the Friday they showed up here. I called him and asked him, what can we do? He said, they've already made a decision. As the horses are already out of the corrals. Come on, you guys need to really pay attention. We're about to do the same thing. We care not about the people that need.
Okay, that concludes comments on agenda items. We can now move. Was there any? There's nobody else listed on this list. We'll still have time for public comment. We have someone here for agenda items? All right, Mr. Spindler.
My first time here.
Yeah, I think you know how the process works.
I don't know.
You know you need to sign up.
Okay.
What item do you want to speak on?
Let's see. Number 1. Trying to catch my breath here. I just had a high-speed
You have 3
chase.
minutes. Start his time.
Okay. So let's see here. Number 2, ramen noodle.
Number 2 has already been voted on.
Number 1.
You can speak to number 1.
Oh, look at that. Hey, Tania. You're not in prison yet. Let's give her a hand. All right. Number 1. So let's see. Ramen joining our council petty pink skin president. What happened to you?
Speak to the
Where
item.
was that nice lady?
Speak to the item, sir.
that broke my heart and got rid of my friend David Rue? Oh, and number one, Bob, she's a co-sponsor. It's on fucking topic. Ask Mr. Buckethead. He's a lawyer. He knows. So, fuck TAFRA. Is that on topic? Fuck revenue bonds. Is that on topic? Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. So now, is that right? We got Garrett Morris on the Walk of Fame. See, Garrett Morris did something so racist, outrageous, that you guys are going to pull this nomination when I tell you what happened. He insulted the hearing impaired many times. Yes, he actually said, when Chevy Chase was doing the news, Garrett Morris got in there and faked that he was the association president for the hearing impaired. So he was going to repeat with sign language the top topic. No, he didn't do that. What he did was he would yell it louder so the hearing impaired could hear it. So he would say, our top story tonight, and Garrett Morris would go, our top story tonight is General Francisco Franco is still dead. General Francisco Franco is still dead. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow. So you'll see that on YouTube. So congratulations. Stop calling Kevin a racist, a homophobe, and prejudiced, because
Speaker,
you
should
guys
move on
are
to your next
honoring.
item.
You guys are honoring somebody who fucking defecates on the hearing impaired like that.
Mr. Spindler,
and
you
you
need
guys
to move on to
honor
your
him.
next item.
This is too important to get 1 minute on. Too goddamn important. So that proves that you're full of shit about Kevin, because you guys fucking honor people like this. And then we have the motion to get rid of Donald Trump's star. You don't even vote on it. So
You've already exhausted your time on that
that's
item.
what it is. Now, number 19 says, Amadeo de Leon. Don't confuse it with Kevin. I'll be back here to shit on you all and say fuck you
Thank
very
you
soon.
much. Okay. That concludes all speakers on the items.
So I have a couple family members who've come all the way from the East Coast, from New Jersey to be specific. I just want to introduce my tia, my aunt, which is Delia, as well as my cousin here, Vivian. They're out here in California visiting, you know, and we decided to bring them down to City Hall so they can see that. And they're from New Jersey, so you know how crazy things are in New Jersey. I think they think this City Hall is much crazier than anything back on the East Coast. But I just want to welcome both my aunt, Delia, as well as my cousin. Thank you. That's it. Thank you much, Mr. President.
Speaker with the last four digits 1403, please press star 6 to mute yourself.
Speaker, which items would you like to speak to?
Next speaker, which items would you like to speak on?
Okay, then how about 25? The continuation agenda.
You can speak to item number
Can I speak?
25.
Okay, fine. Boy, what a toxic group.
I'm going to wait for general public comment.
We'll be taking general public comment at the end of the meeting. You can call back later.
I'm going to wait for general public comment, okay?
Speaker, we're not taking general public comment at the moment. You may call back at near the end of the meeting.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, can we get Grote or Fable out here? Because this city attorney is extremely hard of hearing.
Speaker, which items would you like to speak to?
Grote or Fable?
Which items would you like to speak to, Speaker?
I'd like a new city attorney.
We can move on to the next speaker.
Good morning, nerds and virgins. Brock Landers, Los Angeles private investigator. I would like to speak on all open items.
That's items 1, 4 through 9, 25, and number 9 from Wednesday's agenda. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Number 1, that's a lot of zeros. That's one less digit than I use in ASCII 2 to represent the Brock Landers Love Club in text messages. an 8, 8 capital X's, and the capital D. It's true. It's very true. 3, why promote vacations in an alley? I do think that we should consider changing the Roy and Figueroa Cross Street to Figueroa and Smoke and Scam Boulevard. Number 4, give the man a star. Way to go saying that a person of color shouldn't be getting his star on the Walk of Fame. To quote my boy Jason, a Smoke and Scam viewer, it's mighty wide of you to tell a person of color to wait for the white man to get his shit together before we can take care of him. The Dems have been telling the people of color that since LBJ. Shout out to the CIF. I prefer my CIF to go down in the first half. 7, I think it's insulting that you name anything the Slope Migration Project. It's bad enough that you call the alert for missing Native American girls the Feather Alert. 8, in a country and city where even the homeless are overweight, I think that we need to do more to bring awareness to heart disease. I'm curious how the price of eating at the City Hall is down to $400 from the $500 when the price of everything else is going up. Number 9, Ramen and Kokorin. Did you not realize that the week of the 22nd was coming up? I know when something is really important to me, I wait until the Friday before to ask people to get involved. Mr. Herman seems to be a little less 5150 after the Xmas break, and I'm all for it. Mental health is a huge issue with homelessness and in this country. And why are we giving so much money to the homeless industrial complex? I think that we should stop giving money to any nonprofit whose leadership makes more than $250,000 a year. If the people in these nonprofits do a good job and cure homelessness, they're going to be out of work. Do you really think they're going to try that hard? And to KDL's family, you guys should be super proud because he's the only one of these motherfuckers that ever stands up and says that we need to watch what the homeless industrial complex is doing. I'm out.
I'm going to wait for general public comment.
I'm asked most in this role is, how can we help on the issue of homelessness?
I just want to underscore the following. When we get the data, the question is, what do you do with the data? If you're not building, if you're not acquiring, you simply are not doing. So counting and counting and counting and counting more, whether numbers increase somewhat or decrease somewhat, they're always a snapshot in time on an annual basis. And this is a challenge I just need to show it to everyone together, collectively, including myself as well, too. We can count ad nauseum, we can count as much as it wants. It makes us feel good to count because we're part of some sort of structure, but I think we would all agree with each other. If we're not building, we're not acquiring, to put those numbers that we counted under a roof, then we're not doing much. So this is just a challenge, not just to the City Council, but to the County Board of Supervisors, to our friends in Congress and the state legislature, in every possible way to give us the revenues that we need to build those housing units or to acquire those housing units. And I just want to just reemphasize doubly why it's critical that the action that we do after the count with LAHSA, with PATH and all of the other service providers, with the mayor and elected officials. It's a great photo op when we go out there, but at the end of the day, it's what we do with the actual work. Other than that, como dice mi abuela, es puro wiri wiri wara wara. Thank you very much.
Okay, what is left on the desk?
Mr. President, the council can now take up general public comment.
Okay. We will move to general public comment. Please stop clapping, Mr. Herman. Mr. Gravener, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
All right, as we all know, it's at or near the beginning of the meeting, right? Right, everyone? I mean, you're definitely in compliance with the rules here. You just keep violating the rules, and it's up to you all to hold Paul accountable to the rules. But you won't do that because you're either in full support of this guy or you're, a coward who doesn't want to do anything about it. But it's really ridiculous. People are calling in, people are confused. I don't know if I'm supposed to raise my hand, lower my hand, when I need to join the meeting, You're just making it as complicated as possible to get public comment. We all know why, because you're racists, corrupt like Curran Price walking past right now. Racist like Kevin De Leon, or really most of you. Let's do public comment where it's supposed to be. Kevin needs to
Okay,
resign.
thank you. Next speaker. Okay, start his time. Mr. Greenspan, go ahead.
Okay. Mike Greenspan, First and foremost, clean up Van Nuys Boulevard, Ms. Padilla. That's probably the most important thing she should do, other than just collect her $250,000 paycheck in her fancy vehicle. Now, today is Friday, and direct from God's garbage bin to Cantor's Deli in the Fairfax and all the other Jewish delicatessens, you have clam chowder. Now, that's not a food we should be eating, at least according to God and Leviticus 11. In fact, they've got these bad oysters that are from Mexico. If you look at your Bible, you'll see it's food you shouldn't be eating. But I guess we have to have treif in the Jewish delis. All I can say, if you're going to serve clam chowder in a Jewish deli, do me one favor. Serve it with queer rabbi.
Okay, thank you. Well, just a reminder, even though it's general public comment, it's comment related to items that would come related to city business. It's not just on clam chowder. So, next speaker.
Yeah, it's about time Ms. Padilla pay attention to her district and help support maybe like a gentleman by the name of Candido. But apparently she has too much time on other projected projects. Spend the time, clean up Van Nuys. And the issue about homelessness, it's a crime in California. And the reason why is because your dumbass governor, yes, Governor Gavin Newsom, has put us in a deficit that not even Trump could save California. So when you go to the polls and you vote for Trump, remember, it was Trump who made reforms that actually changed some of the things going on in our local government. Now, if you want the same corruption, the same bullshit, and the same stupid motherfuckers that go kill children from Israel to Hamas, help us support Hamas. Trump!
Okay, next speaker. Time has expired. Let's go to the next person.
All right. I'm really curious, maybe someone from Councilmember Rahman's office can tell me why the taxpayers are paying Ryan Ahari's salary for him to be Councilmember Rahman, her little bitch. I swear to God, the other night at Soha, she shook her empty cup and he hopped to it and brought her some water. This was at a campaign event. I don't think Ryan Ahari should be campaigning for Councilmember Rahman because we pay him. Oh, how you tried to get us to believe your lies at the Soha meeting Wednesday night. You and Ethan bitching, but a candidate was missing. Why didn't Levon get an invite? The truth is Weaver's their guy. We know the reason why they don't want to split the vote. Why don't you want to debate Levon? Nithya Raman's a joke. Nithya Raman is a joke.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker.
That's right, and you heard Imelda Padilla says that she's doing her job. Liar! Van Nuys Boulevard looks like shit. Please clean it up. Woodley has no street lights. Burbank has no street lights. But Channel 5 last night said somebody's doing a good job. And that's Tracy Park kicking ass. Let's get it. That's right. Then we got Kevin brought his family here today to see the racists that come up here and blast him. Where are they? They're fucking gone. That's right. So Kevin will get reelected. He will win. He wasn't a fucking racist. So your family, you tell them, no racista. Nada. Nuri Martinez es a racista. Nuri Martinez mucho gorda. All right, happy fucking weekend.
Okay, next speaker. And I've called all the names, so if you haven't heard your name and you're here for general public comment, just come up to the side. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope Van Nuys Boulevard starts getting cleaned up, but we got to do what we can do. Mr. Bloomingfield, you're a victim. You're a victim of an individual in that corner named Simi Park. She's a very toxic individual, and you got sucker punched on having her within your council. If you saw all the HR complaints that she makes, you're going to become a victim too. I've never had a problem with you, and I'm a very proud conservative Republican, and you've always been honest and truthful to me when you're up in Sacramento and so forth. Just be very careful of Simi Park over there. As you know, because of her purported racism, she had to pay $99,000 on the, where the city paid against a black person. Every day with her, she's a toxic individual. Just be very careful. Don't become another victim with other people of Simi Park right in the corner right there, hiding her face and being the best piece of trash she can be. Thank you.
Miss Padilla, you have the opportunity of a lifetime. You were here with your mother and you made a promise. I want from you just to keep that promise. Okay, don't look at me. You know what? I don't give a damn. You know, yeah,
Okay,
use your
thank
phone.
you.
That's more important. You know
Next-
what, Miss Padilla?
Next speaker, please. Thank you.
Good morning. I am here to support that former LAPD officer because I just heard her. I mean, he's probably comment a moment ago regarding the vaccine mandate or something. I always thought that people quit LAPD is because you know they find a better salary in a nearby city. But from that previous officer, it seems like a big number of officers quit is because of some sort of unlawful vaccination mandate. I definitely believe that as a human, I really believe that I should be in charge of my own body, what goes into my body, what's coming out of my body. I thought the government cannot force me to put anything inside of my body. And then most important, I'm here to support Candido regarding clean up the Van Nuys Boulevard and then clean up the Van Nuys Boulevard and the Skid Row.
Speaker with the last...
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. General public comment. Even subhuman low-life Nuri Martinez said, if you are indicted, you will be suspended from this council. Petty pink-faced, corrupt Armenian dictator Paul Ku Klux Klan is even lower than Martinez because he has indicted out on bail, embezzling criminal Curran Price voting daily on this corrupt, sleazy council. Sleazy Marquise Dawson is once again teaming up with developers to harass and evict the low-income black senior citizens at the West Angeles Villas complex. These are more black people impacted by incompetent and corrupt Dawson's food desert and CD8. Sleazy Marquise Dawson is the worst thing to ever happen to the black community. The black community has zero representation from this incompetent, corrupt, sellout, self-serving, indicted black member of this corrupt city council. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, DanielGust.substack.com. Once again, you guys lowered my hand in the meeting. If you don't want to give me the time now, this is Gary, has a history of doing this. I'll be glad to file a formal cure and correct, and you'll have to undo all of your votes or I'll file a claim against the city. So if you want to do that, let me know, and if not, I'll file a formal cure and correct if you'd like. And I guess I'm not being given more time than this, so let's get to the point about this homeless count. Last night on the news, the vendor, Urban Alchemy, that you've paid tens of millions of dollars for, was shown hosing down homeless people on a sidewalk in the middle of the frigid air, and you lose more people due to hypothermia here than in most other major cities. So does that person count as a homeless in the homeless count? Ms. Rahman, where are you? Does the tens of millions of dollars you're paying to Urban Alchemy include homeless people that they douse with water?
Next speaker, please begin.
Shout out to First Responders Media, who's covering what's going on in the southern border in Arizona. KDL's Tia, I don't know how you feel about a law enforcement type guy. But what's up, girl? How do you feel about a raid on your southern border? Jason, a Smoking Scam viewer, I'm sorry to hear about your issue shooting ropes. Eat more celery, brother. You'll be shooting ropes like a pro.
Rob Kwan, why was this city attorney put in a quiet timeout from council meetings for 5 years? Because that clown embarrassed Herb and Nuri. story time. 2/3 of you weren't on the council 5 years ago. And I don't think any of you were on the floor when it went down, but we had 4 to 5 members on the floor at most. A bunch of our members were off taking pictures, hosting press conferences, dining out on lunch on the South Lawn. To make matters worse, they proceeded to a special meeting, called the roll, and the city clerk said everyone was there. I used my public comment to say they could not vote on the item because they did not have a quorum. This city attorney ruled me off topic repeatedly. When I objected, they kicked me out of the meeting and stopped proceedings so the officers could remove me. Wiser voices prevailed, and then they sat there for 15 minutes as Nuri and Alexis angrily texted and called members to get to the floor. Emily Alpert Reyes was live tweeting the shit show. Ultimately, I was given my time to speak on your lack of quorum. This episode was mentioned in the article on Herb stepping down as council president. If you just let me speak, nothing would happen. And instead, you embarrassed yourself and our elected.
Next speaker, please begin.